You don't want to eat concrete in the name of chinchin. You want your chinchin to be crunchy. Whether you are preparing this for kids or adults, this recipe is a winner. Let me quickly show you how I made this. It was yummy. I used all-purpose flour. You too should use the same. I used 1 kg of flour. It is very important that you measure your ingredients before use. With this, you will get a perfect result. As always, I sifted my flour. You should do the same as well. There are so many benefits to this. Whether you are baking with flour or you are cooking with flour, always sift. Especially if your recipe calls for this, you will be incorporating air, you will be eliminating lumps and possibly death. This is the flavor I used. You can also use vanilla, cinnamon, or any flavor of your choice. I prefer nutmeg. I love the flavor of nutmeg in my chinchin, and I make this myself. I will simply grate this and then sieve to get a very smooth texture. If you want this, you can go for it. If you have nutmeg powder already, you can use it. 2 teaspoons is enough for this recipe. If you are going for cinnamon, you can use it as well. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon or 2 teaspoons of vanilla or whatever flavor you prefer. This is salt. I used just a teaspoon of salt. Next is the nutmeg. This is followed by powdered milk. I use powdered milk for this recipe. You can go for liquid milk if you want. Here comes the sugar. I used just 1 cup of sugar. The next ingredient that will be going into this bowl is the baking powder. I'll use just a teaspoon of baking powder. I also sift my baking powder. Do you do this? I normally sift my baking powder because when you get baking powder lump in your batter, it is always bitter. In this bowl right now are all the dry ingredients. Did you notice that? I will stir properly to combine. Make sure this is well incorporated. Next are the eggs. I use 2 medium eggs. These eggs should be slightly beaten. Make sure you slightly beat them. Don't just add them to the dry ingredients. So this will be added to the dry ingredients. Make sure you beat slightly. I will stir this to incorporate properly. These are the dry ingredients and then eggs. Stir properly, stir until everything is well incorporated. Next is the margarine. You can use butter if you want. This margarine will be rubbed in on these ingredients. I'll be doing this with my fingers. I will rub until everything is well combined. When this is properly done, it will look like breadcrumbs. Don't worry, you are on the right track. It should look just like so. Next is to add water. I started with half cup of water. Remember to add water gradually. Don't add all the water you need at the same time. I ended up using a little below 1 cup of water for this recipe. Remember, if you used liquid milk, the water you add to this batter, you'll be using less water than I. If you get the consistency you want, that will be okay. Next, transfer the batter to your work surface and continue to knead so that everything will be well combined. If you got this recipe correctly, you don't need to sprinkle your surface with flour. The batter won't stick to the flour. It will be easier for you to work with. So once everything is well combined, I shared this into 4 places. This is for ease. It will be easier for me to work with. Once I share this into 4 places, I will start rolling. You can do this with a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, just like me, you can improvise. You can use a bottle. This bottle is those bottles they use for groundnuts. If you have maybe a beer bottle or any bottle around, as long as the body is smooth, hello, use it. Use it to roll out your chinchin. Nobody will know you didn't use a rolling pin. Roll this batter out to the thickness of your choice. It is up to you. Once you are done, use your cutter to cut this chinchin to the shapes or even thickness of your choice. If you don't have just like me, you can improvise as well. I used my cooking knife to do this. You too can do the same. Simply cut this into any shape of your choice. Remember I said if you got this recipe correctly, you don't need to flour your surface. Look at the chinchin. After cutting, it comes up easily. It is not sticking to the surface. You will have to roll that until all the batter is exhausted. If you are making a large quantity, you can go for a chinchin cutter. There is a machine that does this. It will help to save you time and energy. But if the quantity you are making is not much, just like I'm doing now, you can simply roll out, then cut into any shape of your choice, and then let's move to the next point. I find this to be easier. Once I roll out, I will separate them with my hands. You can see they are coming off easily. You can also do it one after the other, just like this. But this wastes time. You will have to do it one after the other. I think this will get you exhausted easily. It is easier to roll out at once. Look at the outcome. Next is to fry. Chinchin is deep fried, unlike plantain. You will need a deep fry pan for this. I added vegetable oil. You can use any vegetable oil of your choice. This is how I tested the oil. I simply added just a little butter into the oil and it sizzled. I added the first batch. I added about 2 handfuls and immediately stirred this. Make sure you do this as well so that they won't gum together. Once you add the chinchin into the oil, the next thing is to separate them. Once you separate them, there's no way this can gum together. You will do this for others until everything is exhausted. Look at it once again. I added this into the oil. This is the second one, and then I separated them immediately. Make sure you stir this from time to time until they are golden brown. Don't allow it to get to the point you love it. They don't need to be really golden brown to the point you love it before you can take them off the oil. Remember, when it cools down, it gets darker. Let me give you some tips to making your chinchin. You will have to avoid too much margarine. This will make your dough to be soggy and soak up oil when you are frying. To fry this 1 kg of chinchin, I use 750 ml of vegetable oil. Add little water at a time when you are kneading. These two can make your chinchin to soak up oil. Avoid too much heat. This is now on medium heat. Don't use low heat as well. Your chinchin can soak up oil. Avoid overcrowding when you are frying. Overcrowding can make your chinchin to soak up oil. Lastly, avoid too much eggs. This can make your oil to foam when you are frying. Once you adhere to all these rules, you will get a perfect chinchin. Look at the outcome. This was yummy. It was tasty. It was crunchy. Everyone that tasted it wanted more. This is perfect for kids and adults. Whether you're making this recipe for kids or for adults, this recipe is a winner. Make sure you stick to the recipe and adhere to all the tips I just listed, and you will get a perfect result. Chinchin can be enjoyed with any soft drink of your choice. You can use zobo to also get this down. What of soy milk? This will also go down well. I've made a video about how you can make zobo to retain its medicinal value and natural goodness. You can also enjoy this with soy milk. I've made this video as well, how you can make soy milk so that it doesn't have that beany taste. I'll be linking the 2 videos in the description box below. If you're interested, do check them out. When you make this recipe, give me your feedback in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in my next one. Bye-bye.